Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another live stream on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. Hope everyone has had a great weekend so far. It's almost Monday. It's almost the start of another week. Are we going to hear something from the EFL this week? Who knows? How long is a piece of string? We will be discussing the EFL on this edition of the weekly catch-up. All the latest goings on over the last week regarding Leeds United will be discussed this evening. Big up to everyone that's in the chat and watching at the minute. Just before I go into it, guys, as always, please smash that like button. It is really much appreciated. It just helps get the video out there in terms of the algorithms and stuff. Share it with your friends, your family, your neighbours, whoever. And please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new as well. I do keep saying it a lot, but it's something I really want to hit. I really would like to hit 3,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Please smash that subscribe button. It is free and it really does help me out. Hit that notification bell, and of course, keep getting your comments in throughout the stream, guys. And of course, there is a membership feature on the channel. If you're enjoying the content and you'd like a few bonus features, check out the membership feature on the channel. It's £1.99 a month. If you can afford to do it, please get involved. Everything that is donated goes straight back into the channel. Right then, all the niceties are out of the way. Let's just get into a few of your comments straight off the bat. Philip's in the building. Hi, Charlie and everyone. Feeling a bit worried about our season. The EFL are taking the... Yeah, yes, they are. Again, Phil, we'll be discussing that shortly. Tommy's saying marching on together. When will it start? How long's a piece of string, Tommy? How long's a piece of string? Julie's, as always, is in the building. Evening, Julie. How we doing? Tommy's saying yes, Charlie. Nice kit. Yeah, I thought I'd rock the new home shirt for tonight's stream, guys. It is really nice. It's a lot nicer in person than the photos, I must admit. Anyone that's not got it, yeah, go out and get it. It really is a really nice kit. And JC, as always, big supporter of the channel. Been speaking with Jay over the last few days regarding things that are going to be happening on the channel moving forward. So really do appreciate all of your feedback over the last few days, mate, and hope you're doing well. So then, where shall we begin for the week's events? Let's discuss the EFL. Let's just get them out of the way, shall we? Yeah, taking ages, aren't they, at the minute? And again, really, really frustrating that we're now, what, is it about 3 or 4 weeks since Ace Ventures and the 49ers agreed the sale of the club. Usually it can take, in fairness, it can take about 10 to 14 days for them to get everything ratified. But as I've just said, we're nearly 3 or 4 weeks in, still nothing. They've brought in that stupid rule of the last week where clubs are no longer allowed to announce takeovers before they've been ratified by the EFL. Clearly, they've brought that rule in because of the amount of Leeds fans that are atting them on Twitter, asking why this situation hasn't been wrapped up. As I say, everything's been agreed, but they need that approval to go through. In terms of signings, no one's really none the wiser as to whether this actually affects us signing players. I'm sure it does one way or another. Otherwise, signings would have been coming through the door by now. But it's a weird one for me. I partly don't blame Leeds themselves because I thoroughly believe that regardless of what players they are, I believe that there are deals in the background being done and just waiting to be officially announced after the EFL approval comes. But then I partly blame us as well because surely, obviously, again, we don't work at the club. In terms of financials, we're all not aware. But surely there must be some money to spend. We've just received a couple of million for Rodrigo, which we'll be talking about in a little bit as well. There's the parachute payments. Surely a little bit of that must have come through. So surely there are deals that need to be done. I get that it's Radrizzani that would need to sign off on them. But, you know, I'd have expected at least one or two signings in by now at least, and I think Daniel Farker at the minute seems very frustrated, and I can't lie, I'm in complete agreement with him. I think the EFL just want to keep Leeds United in their leagues for as long as possible because we are the biggest revenue makers for them. I, I imagine that quite a lot of our games this season will be televised because it brings viewings in for them. So I have no doubt that it is a little bit of a tactic for them. There's other takeovers recently, like Huddersfield's, for example, which went through within about 2 weeks. Yeah, they may have submitted it to the AFL prior to what we did, but still, it only took about 10 to 14 days for them for that approval, sorry, to go through. But at the minute, for some reason, Leeds United seems to be taking forever, and I think it's just the no noise at the minute that's really worrying. I think if Leeds came out and made a statement and just advised that this, and this is happening in the background, we expect the approval to come by X date. Yeah, it might be annoying because it might mean waiting, but at least we'll have clarity. At least we would know the situation. Graham Smith, however it is you pronounce his last name, on Twitter at the Yorkshire Evening Post, did reply to a fan on Twitter advising that he doesn't expect it to be much longer now. And it's a lot closer than when he last wrote about it. Again, don't know how much we could really read into that being 100% true. He could just be trying to calm fans down. You never know, or it could be true. I hope it's true. But yeah, guys, hit me up in the comments. What are your thoughts on the EFL situation? Are any of you guys worried as much as I am? Because I'm really starting to get worried now. I really, really am. Tommy's saying, who are you most excited to play next season in the EFL? That's a good question, is that, Tommy? Very good question. Most excited. You know what? There is one that I would have been excited for. Obviously, I am a season ticket holder. And in terms of atmospheres, I think Chef Wednesday at home will be an amazing atmosphere on the 2nd of September. Unfortunately for me, I'm on holiday for that game, so I will be missing it. That is one that I'm gutted about. I think that atmosphere will be unreal. But the other obvious ones, there's Huddersfield, there's Hull, all of your Yorkshire derbies, I think will be really good. And then there's Millwall, which is always a little bit tasty, isn't it? But also the likes of Leicester and Southampton, who came down with us as well. I think they'll be really good games to be involved in as well. JC is saying we need that approval as soon as possible. I think it's holding up a lot of the business behind the scenes. Yeah, of course it is. But at the same time, surely there are funds available for some deals to get done now. Even loan deals, for example. Because what my point is, Jay, and everyone else in the chat, is that Nick Hammond is working at Leeds at the minute. He's the transfer advisor. Players are leaving at the minute. Now, yes, a lot of them have been on loan apart from Rodrigo, but there's someone working behind the scenes on these deals for players to leave. So why can't deals be done to bring players in? I get they're waiting for the approval because it'll be a lot of the 49ers capital, which they will use. I get that. But parachute payments, the money that we've got for Rodrigo, I know it's not a lot, but it all adds up. And as an outsider looking in, I would think that there are some funds available to us at the minute that we could maybe get certain deals done, even if we brought a few loan players in, a few cheap signings just to bolster the squad. Surely something can be done. I get that they're waiting for the approval. I 100% agree on you with that, but surely some deals can be done. And it is the silence that is killing us. I think, as I've said earlier, as I've said a few times over the last few weeks, guys, the deals can be done. And I think if Leeds could just come out and just make a statement and just say, look, understand that there's a lot of frustration, but this is what's happening. This is the deadline that the EFL have given us. Yeah, there'd be fans that would still be annoyed, including myself, probably, in all honesty, but at least we would know, and at least we'd have a time frame that we could maybe work towards. But yeah, it's as Jay's just said there, it is the silence that is killing us. Just before we move on, guys, there's 13 of you in the building. Really good to see on a Sunday evening, and I am aware that other creators are live at the same time, so I appreciate anyone that drops in. If you could, please smash a like on the video. That would be very much appreciated. It does help get the video out there. Please subscribe to the channel if you are brand new. Hit that notification bell and keep getting your comments in on the topics that we're discussing. Let's move on to the game or games, as we've learned. That is now plural for pre-season as to Leeds United playing this week. Let's start for the game that took place in Norway against Manchester United, aka Scum. Leeds United lost out 2-0 in Norway. Look, it's hard to read into games like this. I put it on Twitter the other day. It is hard to look into it properly because first half and second half were both completely different lineups for both teams. Players were playing together that had maybe not played with each other before. And obviously it was Daniel Farke's first game in charge. It was his first game trying to implement his ideas in a match scenario. Now, it kicked off at 4 o'clock. I was still at work. I managed to catch the first half at work. And from what I saw of the game, in that first half, Leeds United played decent. I thought it was a decent performance, and we put up quite a good fight against Man United in that first half because they did have quite a few first teamers in their 11. Obviously, they had the new signing Mason Mount, they had Aaron Wan-Bissaka, they had Varane, Martinez. You know, they had experience in that team. They even had Amad Diallo, who was on loan at Sunderland last season, playing as well. So they had good players out. For me, if Sinisterra does stay, which I think he could do, in all honesty, if he plays like he did in that first half in the Championship, I think he'll rip this Championship apart. I think he's that good. If he can stay fit and healthy for the majority of this season, I think we'll do very well. I think Jorginho Rute, I thought he did really well as well. I think he's a player that will want to prove himself this season, a player that I think is going to stay and wants to stay and fight for his Leeds United career. I think if he can be a focal point in this team as well, either through the middle or out wide, I think he could be a real asset to us this season as well. I thought Darko Gyebi in midfield was really good as well, along with Cody Drame at right back. I thought he had a really good first half. And I thought Hjelde at left back was actually quite decent as well. And I think it was Cooper and Mullen who played at centre back. Again, players that had not played together but did reasonably well. Jamie Shackleton for me just doesn't cut it for me. I would sell him whilst we can, or at least send him out on loan. I just can't see Shackleton being a part of Daniel Farke's plans. Jan Poveda, again, another one that I've never been sold on. He had that one decent appearance against Man City in that first Premier League season, but other than that, you know, it is just not good enough. We need to be getting rid of this dead wood. And then obviously in the second half is where things started to go a little bit pear-shaped. Man United brought on their under-16s pretty much, and they still managed to beat us. We brought on Luke Ayling, we brought on Pascal Struijk, we brought on Patrick Bamford, Gelhardt. Patrick Bamford, for me, you know, apparently it's come out through the week that he would be open to a move should one happen. I think he does need to go. In all honesty, I think I, I Patrick Bamford for me has had his best days at Leeds United now. He really, really has. He has had his best days at Leeds. And I just think his career's done. Luke Ayling wasn't great either. You could argue he's at fault for that second goal that Man United score. Pascal Strout was not at it either. He was majorly at fault for their first goal. Um, and I think overall, guys, I think that game was a massive indicator to Daniel Farke as to who should stay part of this squad and who should be sent packing, in my opinion. Now, another game that we didn't know about that's come to light over the last 24, 48 hours is a game that took place against Barnsley behind closed doors, where we reportedly, and it has been confirmed, that the scoreline was 9-1 to Leeds United, and it featured a lot of our first teamers. The goal scorers haven't yet been confirmed, but all we know is that Max Verber was there, Charlie Cresswell was there, and Max Verber was actually seen wearing the armband ahead of Luke Ayling and Liam Cooper, which was interesting. So, yeah, if that has happened, which it obviously has, good scoreline against a League One team, but you have to beat what's in front of you, don't you? So yeah, look, I have no, I don't have anything really to much to say on that one. It was behind closed doors. We've not had a chance to watch it. Can't really comment on it in much detail, guys. There's 13 of you in the building. As I said previously, please get your comments in so that we can have a bit of a chat about the topics that we are discussing, guys. There hasn't been any comments dropping in for the last few minutes while I've been speaking there. As I say, smash that like button. Please subscribe. Continue to get your comments in, guys, and I will flash them all up on screen and we can have a chat about whatever you want to discuss regarding Leeds United. Let's move on to Tyler Adams, who's been in the news over the last few days as well. Speaking about Leeds United to New York Red Bull TV, just saying, that it's a special feeling to play at Ellen Road. The fans are amazing, and he was quoted as to say, it is a shame that we got relegated, but we will get back there. The operative word there being we. Tyler Adams is a player that we know that the 49ers want to keep hold of. And for me, if Adams chooses to stay at least this season, I would give him the armband. And I would make him a real focal point of our midfield. You could, Tyler Adams and Darko Gier being that holding two, I think would be really good balance there. And yeah, look, I love Tyler Adams. I thought he was immense for us last season in the games that he played. It was a shame that he picked up that injury at the end of the season. Not maybe technically the best player that we've got, but in terms of grit, desire, heart, fight as well. He has that in abundance. He's a good ball winner, a good tackler, and a real good midfielder that I believe we should be keeping hold of. But if we are to let him go, we need to get, the release clause, which is reportedly £30 million, which I can't see a team in the Premier League spending £30 million on Tyler Adams, in all honesty. So that gives me confidence that we can keep hold of him. Let's just be real, guys. We can't sell everybody. So there will be players that stay. And hopefully Tyler Adams is one of them. Caroline's in the building, one of our members. Evening, Charlie. Do you think much was learned against Barnsley? I mean, there probably was, Caroline, but as I said, no one's actually got to watch it. There's been no highlights shared. We don't even know who scored the goals. But I'm sure a lot can be learnt from it. 100%. I think Barnsley are obviously in League One, not quite in our league, but it's a similar level of opponent to what we're going to be facing this season. So if we have beaten them 9-1, great. I hope a lot of players manage to get on the score sheet and put in some good performances. But yeah, I'm sure Farke will have learned a lot from that game and the game against Man United as well. And Stephen's saying keeping Adams is a must. Yeah, I agree. It is for me as well. I think he's one of our more important and crucial players. I really do. Um, so yeah, let's move on anyway. To some potential, well, a potential incoming, and that is Emmanuel Dennis. According to various outlets regarding Nottingham Forest, they are sharing that apparently Emmanuel Dennis is not included in their pre-season tour, as he has been told that he is allowed to leave the club and he is allowed to join Leeds United. The fee or contract or anything like that hasn't been disclosed, but apparently Emmanuel Dennis has been told that he is free to join Leeds United. Now, I've seen a bit of a mixed response from it on social media. Certain people want him, certain people don't. And I can understand reasonings on both sides. I'm of the opinion that I would have him. I would. I think, given the fact that we've been relegated, I think there's a certain caliber of player that we're going to be going after. It makes sense in terms of us having Nick Hammond, who tends to recruit domestically in like English leagues rather than using the continent. And it's a player that is used to the English game, has briefly played in the Championship. And I think in the Championship for Leeds United under Daniel Farke and the way that we're going to play, I think he will be a decent addition. As Jay has said there, though, is his position a number 9? I'm not too sure. I think he can play through middle, but also as a wide player as well. So at least if we bring him in, he has got the ability to play both roles if needed. I for one would be happy with Emmanuel Dennis. The fee though would kind of sway my judgment a little bit. If we overpay for him, then I think it could be a bit of a risk. But as long as it's a decent fee, there's not a lot of risk involved with it. If we signed another striker as well, who was also a good signing, then it would make it even better. But if Emmanuel Dennis is our only striker slash forward signing, it's good, but it's not great. But I think it's definitely an upgrade on the likes of Patrick Bamford, and obviously the fact that Rodrigo has left means that obviously we should be getting another forward player in because we can't afford not to now, in my opinion. Julie saying, Charlotte, it was on Facebook earlier that Everton have put a 15 million bid in for Gnonto, and apparently Leeds have put a not for sale on him. Any more news on that? No. Obviously, that 15 million pound bid, Julie, has been rejected by Leeds United for Willy Gnonto. We'll get onto that now. Actually, it was the next thing that I was about to discuss. So yeah, basically, as you've just said there, Everton did put a bid in of 15 million quid with Leeds United, but it has been rejected by the club. And as you've said there, Julie, they have put Willy Gnonto as not for sale. Other than that, no other news. No news as to whether Everton are going to put in a second bid to try and get him. I did put a short out last night about this, and it's actually had quite a lot of views actually. So anyone that's seen it, I really do appreciate it. But I was basically just saying, it doesn't make sense to me. One, that Gnonto would entertain a move over to Everton, and two, the fact that Everton actually want Willy Gnonto. And the reason I say that is because it's Sean Dyche, for crying out loud. Sean Dyche is not going to be playing an attractive possession-based style of football. It is hoofball, and let's be honest, Everton are going to be involved in another relegation battle. That they 100% are. They might start off okay, but they will fall off and they will end up in that relegation battle in the Premier League next season. Is Willy Gnonto going to want another relegation scrap? In my opinion, he wouldn't. Will it do his development a load of good by staying in the Championship, scoring a lot of goals and getting regular minutes? Yes, it would. The only thing where I could see him, just to play devil's advocate for a second, the only thing I could kind of understand him wanting to go to Everton is that at least in his eyes, he'll see it as that it is a Premier League team, and even if Everton are involved in a scrap or even go down, if he has another good season, then it elevates him even more, and then he could move on again. But even if Gnonto leaves this summer, I don't see him going to Everton. But obviously, if Everton come in with another bid, and it's an improved bid, and it's a bid that Leeds United like, and they accept it, maybe he may, entertain negotiations with them. But as I say, guys, for me, Gnonto to Everton doesn't really make any form of sense to me for him as a player and for Everton. The style of play that Sean Dyche is going to play will not benefit Gnonto in the slightest, in my opinion. And I don't think he would want to be involved in another relegation scrap. That's just my opinion. I've had a few salty Everton fans on TikTok saying, that Leeds are in the Championship and blah blah blah. Fair enough. If that's your opinion, then fine. And it's no disrespect to Everton as a club. I just don't think Gnonto would entertain it. If he goes there, fair enough. As I say, he could just see it as that it is a Premier League club and it's more exposure for him. I get that. But it'll do him the load of good to stay at Leeds United, bag some goals in the Championship, and be a real focal point in getting us back up, hopefully. So, yeah. NJ1's saying Dennis is not a number 9 yet. Fair enough. Gnonto going to Everton will not happen, according to Philip. I hope you're right. It's not good for a player to keep jumping ship before long. No team will want you through fear of commitment issues. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if Gnonto does leave, I think it'd be understandable given that we've been relegated. But as I say, I think Gnonto, well, I know that Gnonto is a player that the 49ers want to keep a hold of, as well as Tyler Adams. So I'd like to think that we could keep hold of him, but it's more of a fingers crossed basis at the minute. Caroline saying she agrees. Yep. And Julie saying Gnonto is on a 5-year contract. Leeds should ask mega bucks for him and scare him off 60 million. I don't think anyone would pay 60 million for him, but I do get your point, Julie. Apparently, Leeds United's asking price would be 25 million, which, given the fact we signed him for 4 million, it'd be a 21 mil profit, which would be good. But again, I think 30 million max is what Willy Gnonto is worth. I think you pay for potential. He is an Italian international. He's playing for their first team. But like you say, he is on a 5-year deal, so maybe we should demand more. Who knows? But yeah, I hope and I think we can keep hold of him. Imagine Gnonto, Sinistera, Ruta, Dan James, Cine and all that. JB in midfield. If we add Emmanuel Dennis, keep Bamford just as an option. That forward line is looking good. Somerville as well. I do think Somerville will leave, though, in my opinion. And I think Harrison will as well. But even if we could keep hold to the others, I think it's a very good attack in the Championship, in my opinion. Philip saying, I've got an Everton fan as a friend, and even he said he doesn't think he will be going to Everton. Yeah, but Everton have made a bid, so they are obviously interested. It's just whether they believe he's worth what we think he's worth. And I can't see Everton spending like 30, 25, 30 million on Gnonto. I just can't. Jay's saying the thing is no one else has shown any solid interest in him. If I'm honest, I wouldn't care if Willie goes, even if it is to Everton. Okay. Fair enough, Jay. Yeah, look, I'm not of that opinion, but I can understand maybe why it is you're saying that. As you've said, no other team has shown interest in him. There's been rumours of Italian clubs wanting him, but no real concrete evidence on that. But Everton have obviously made that bid. It's been rejected. I would be bothered if Gnonto goes. Well, I say I would. I won't be because deep down I'm kind of expecting him to move on, even if it's right near the end of the window after the season has started. But I must admit, Jay, I'd be pretty annoyed if he went to Everton. I just don't. I just think it'd be another relegation scrap for him, and I'm not sure he would even want that deep down. Guys, there's 29 people in the building. Just before we go any further, please smash that like button if you can. It really does help me out, get the video out there and gets more eyes onto the channel. Please subscribe if you are brand new as well. Really want to hit 3,000 as soon as possible. Hit that notification bell and, of course, get your comments in. There is a membership feature on the channel as well, which you can find out on the channel. Basically, there'll be a few perks on there, which will be in the description of the membership. It's £1.99 a month if you can afford to do so. It really does help with the channel, and it all does go into the channel. I can assure you of that. 33 of you in the building now. Really good to see. Philip saying, nah, 35 million, no lower. Fair enough. NJ1 saying, then players stay, we win the league 100%, and the players will have a fantastic season. Yep, hopefully. And Everton are totally broke. Yeah, exactly. The ownership's not great at Everton, is it? Lee's saying we will pass him next year when we are on our way up and he's on his way down with Everton. God, I just don't want him to go in the first place, Lee, to be fair. Jay's saying I would like to keep Gnonto, obviously, but he is an asset. And if you could get... Yeah, exactly, Jane. I 100% agree with that. If a bid is made and it's a good bid and it's accepted, then you can't really argue too much with it. As I say, deep down, I do expect Gnonto to go, but if we can keep hold of him, it'd be amazing. I do think we can keep hold of him, but there's obviously that part of me that does think he may still go. Selling Gnonto for peanuts to Everton only helps them with FFP. Yeah. And JC is saying there isn't any money in Italy, so I'm not sure if anyone would go for him. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But obviously, you know, he is Italian. He may think that he wants to play for one of the biggest clubs in Serie A. You're thinking Inter, AC, Napoli, Fiorentina, maybe even. But I don't know. But obviously, let's discuss Rodrigo's outgoing as well. Obviously, he's joined Saudi Arabian side Al Rayyan. For a fee believed to be £3.5 to £4 million. It's not a good fee, in my opinion, but you know, he had a relegation release clause. It's not good that we paid £27 million for him, and then we've only got £4 million back. But I think, given his age, given the fact that we got relegated, that he won't want to play in the Championship. You know, I think they've probably just respected his wishes and just granted him that move. And at least, I know it's not a lot of money, but at least it is a fee that we're getting. You know, the likes of Aronson, Koch, Christensen and Llorente, they've all gone on loan. Mark Roca looks set to join Real Betis on loan as well. Apparently, Betis wanted it to be a permanent deal. They wanted to buy Mark Roca, but apparently Leeds have changed the negotiations, and now it will be a loan with with a buy option. Don't get why they wouldn't have just took the fee. But yeah, it is a really weird one. Is that really is? NJ saying Everton any day next season will have to answer to FFP. Then they might have to pay tens, if not hundreds of millions to clubs. Yep. Heard Burnley wanted 130 million off Everton. Okay. Julie saying, I think Rutte will be great in the Championship. He seems happy to be staying at Leeds. Yeah, I do as well. I think he'll have a really good season. I think he'll play a lot more regularly. I think Farker will like him. And again, I think he could be a real important factor in helping Leeds have a good season. Leeds saying, come on, guys, there's only 9 likes on the video. There's 34 of you in the building. Please smash that like button. As I say, it really does help get the video out there and get more eyes onto the channel. And subscribe if you're new as well. But come on, guys, 34 people and there's only 9 likes. It is free to like the video, you know. Just smash that like button. It is free. And as I say, it really does help me out if you're enjoying the content. Chris is saying, hi, Chris, mate. How we doing? So yeah, look, guys, we've been going for nearly 40 minutes now, so we're just going to wrap it up. Things that I want to happen this week. Well, I want to hear something from the EFL. Hopefully we do. The last time I did one of these was when we were still waiting on a manager, and then Daniel Farker got announced that week. So hopefully, the fact that I'm saying I want to hear something from the EFL, hopefully they're watching this. Who knows? But get your asses into gear, EFL, and get this takeover approved. Because let's be honest, guys, 3 weeks today we play Cardiff. This time in 3 weeks we will have played Cardiff in our first game of the season, and we've still not brought in a first team signing. So whether it's Rad signing off on it, or whether it's the EFL finally putting this approval through, I think once this approval's done, you'll start to see a lot of incomings coming in to Leeds United. I was saying to someone at work the other day, what is it, 3 weeks until Cardiff? If we could get 2 or 3 signings through the door in the next 3 weeks, then that'd be great. And then obviously work on other deals before the end of the window, then that would be good. As I say, guys, I think the main thing that we all want is the AFL approval so that signings can come in. There's been Nat Phillips linked, Emmanuel Dennis, there's Reece Oxford as well, another youngster that's been linked for a loan move to the club. So there are wheels in motion, I believe, in the background. I do think Nick Hammond is working hard to get deals virtually done. And then once this approval's done, I think you will start to see a lot of incomings, guys. So hopefully we see a lot more stuff going on over the course of this week. I'll be back every morning, guys. I have decided now that every morning in the work van, I will be doing a short, just on a brief, on a topic where I'll just be giving a brief reaction and thoughts too. So make sure that you check those out on a morning. And I'll try and get as much content as I can throughout evenings this week, guys, with our news reactions as well. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more content. As I say, please smash that like button on your way out, guys. It would be very much appreciated to get more eyes onto the channel. As I did just say then, please subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000. It'd be great if we could hit that as soon as possible. Of course, hit that notification bell. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, guys. And I will see you in a bit. Cheers.